Good afternoon. Welcome to the Small Business Town Hall. My name is Sabina Matos. I'm the Lieutenant Governor for the state of Rhode Island. I'm glad to continue this tradition that was started by then Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee, now our Governor of the state of Rhode Island. I'm glad to be here with all of you to continue this tradition. And as always, I just want to remind everyone that if we want to open our economy fully, we have to make sure that we get those vaccines in arms. So please, anything you can do to help us get the vaccines in arms, please contact us. If you would like for us to bring the vaccine to your business, if you have a large enough workforce, please communicate with our offices, the Office of the Lieutenant Governor, and we're gonna make it happen for you. This afternoon, as always, I'm in good company. I have Mark Hayward, which is the Director of the Small Business Administration for the District of the Office of Rhode Island, is here with us. We have Director Liz Tanner from the Business Regulation. We have Acting Director Matthew Weldon from the Rhode Island Department of Labor and Training. And we always have, as always with us, Chris Parisi, the founder of the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition. So thank you all for being here. And I'm just gonna go and start with Director Mark Hayward to get the latest from him.
Good afternoon, Governor. How are you today?
Good afternoon.
It's great to be with you again. And it's really important today. Actually, I got some great information to impart to all of our Rhode Island small businesses, particularly the small businesses that are restaurants. The agency has announced that we will be opening the portal for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund starting on Monday, May 3rd at 12 noon. And you know, Governor, we have had major discussions. My office now has done 7 separate training sessions. We have a number of training sessions that are still this afternoon. We have another one. We have one with the Central Rhode Island Chamber along with East Providence Chamber of Commerce in the Northern Rhode Island. We're going to do another one with the Rhode Island Hospitality Association, and we're going to do another one on our own. And I've been communicating back and forth with Senator Rhode. I can't emphasize enough the importance of people to get on one of these training sessions. It's not, the application is, the sample application is on the SBA website, www.sba.gov/RRF. But here, Governor, here's the issue. We are competing with everybody all over the country. And while the first 21 days by law have been separated out for women, those who are socially and economically disadvantaged, and veterans, that's all fine, well, and good. That's the first 21 days. But if I had a restaurant and I waited until day 22 before I submitted my application, there are going to be thousands of applications that are going to be submitted before me because I can submit my application at noon Eastern time on Monday. And we just had a discussion about, you know, the number of people that are actually coming on our program. And I'm concerned about it, Governor, because I want people to take this seriously. The way, if you're an established restaurant, which we have a lot of them, it's very simple. 2019, you did $1 million. 2020 during COVID, you only did $500,000. And then you get 100,000 PPP. Well, that's 2 million minus that's 1 million minus $500,000 minus 100,000. You are eligible for a $400,000 grant. And I can't, Governor, I feel like I'm talking to myself here.
Free money, right?
Right. I mean, and our hospitality, listen, our hospitality business here in the state of Rhode Island is critical to our overall economy. I get calls from people who own restaurants, inns, brew pubs every single day and talk about how they're teetering and the importance of, you know, getting this money going forward. But the bottom line is $28.6 billion is while it sounds like a lot of money, when you spread it across the entire country, you're competing with everybody else. So my message through you, Governor, is to all restaurants, inns, brew pubs, bakeries, or whoever is eligible. Don't wait. Go online, call the office, send an email to what Ben has put there, Rhode Island _DO at SBA.gov. Let us help you get prepared for Monday so that you can submit your application. And the other thing, Governor, is we're continuing to do well with PPP. That is going extremely well. The idle loans, as I mentioned to you in the backstage, have increased from 150 to 500,000. So, and that's a loan. That's not a grant. That's a loan where people can go back in, be invited back in, and do ask for additional funds. So, I mean, everything is out there, but this is just so critical, Governor, to what we do here. I just want to be successful.
Thank you so much, Mark. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to and share this information in our social media platform to make sure we remind everyone that this is available. One question that I've been asked is about provided childcare centers. What are the options for them?
So we actually did an analysis of child care centers, and the option for child care centers is certainly the PPP program. And if there are anybody who has not received PPP round 1 or round 2, they need to apply now because the funds are becoming extremely scarce. I think the last time there was about 20 billion. Because my numbers are right here, yes. Governor. It's about 20 billion that's left. So that means at a run rate of about $11 billion a week, that means that we're only 2 weeks away. If you have not put your application in, you need help. First of all, you have to have a lender. There are lenders out there that are doing PPP loans. So, Governor, if anybody has a problem, have them call us or have them. Best thing to do is to email us because we're in that Rhode Island _DO mailbox at least twice, 2-3 times an hour to make sure that we're responding to everybody. My call list right now is about 50 deep. And I apologize to everybody who I haven't called back, but we're trying to do the seminars, Governor, and just trying to get the information out. And it's been the last couple of weeks been a little bit overwhelming, but we're getting there.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me check with Ben. Ben, do you have a question for Mark?
Hello, Lieutenant Governor. Hello, Director. Yes, hello. Mark, I sent you over a small business that is being blocked by a clerical error by the bank 20 years ago. Hoped you received that. That's the only question I have so far for Mark.
I'm not sure what that is. Did you send it to my email, Ben?
I did not send it. That was Jen. Yeah, that was Jen. That was a comment. Can
she resend to?
Yeah.
Can she please resend to the box? 20 years ago is a long time. The clerical error, hopefully we can reestablish that. We know that we've had a lot of error codes that we've gotten rid of. There are some issues with certain banks, Governor, that we've been working very diligently with them to try to resolve issues. But other than that, if we can resolve it, we will.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
for
Governor.
all this information. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
So next we have, Ben, do we have the secretary already with us? Oh, yes, he is. Thank you so much, Secretary. I cannot hear the secretary right now, so check the audio. Okay.
How about that?
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Secretary Pryor. I'm so glad that you're here with us. Tell us what latest information you have for the small business community today.
My pleasure. Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much for hosting this and for your continued advocacy. And we thank Governor McKee for his stalwart support for the small business community. Today, I want to talk to you about the overall economic picture, another update on our small business relief grant program, and an overview of where we are with restrictions. Some terrific new relaxation is on the way, and Director Liz Tanner will be following up with even more description there. So on the overall economy, I've mentioned this in the past session, but we've been tracking, thanks to the rating agency Moody's, how Rhode Island's doing relative to the country. I just want to point out that Rhode Island is up to 90% restoration of our economy to where we were prior to the pandemic. That's strong. We're better than the U.S. average. The U.S. is only up to 87% strength. We're not a laggard. We're ahead of the curve. Connecticut's right around the average. Massachusetts is way down. New York is, I think, last in the country. So just so you get a sense, some of those economic powerhouses of pre-COVID are not getting back as fast as we are. We're very proud of the fact that we never shut down construction. We never shut down manufacturing. Although there have been restrictions that have been very difficult, and there's been struggle, we've provided waves of support to our small businesses. We're proud of the fact that we're coming back. No one's resting on those laurels. So under the governor and lieutenant governor, we have created a relief grant program to help our smallest businesses come back. These are $1 million in gross receipts and less businesses, so smaller businesses. The window for applying is still open. At the max will be open to the end of this week. If we run out of money sooner, we will have to shut down the program. So far, so good. We are out of a $20 million program, we are at about $18 million.
Wow.
So we're about 90.
In how many days?
In about 10 days, 11 days of operation. And we're about 90% obligated. But the message is, it's not too late. There is money left, but don't wait. Apply so you get ahead of any potential halt of the program. We do have technical assistance available for small businesses that are wondering if they can get a helping hand. We've got the Society of CPAs, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Center for Southeast Asians, Rhodes Consulting, and more helping out. We've got language assistance in Spanish, French, Portuguese, Mandarin, and more. We've got all kinds of assistance. Check out commerceri.com as you see it displayed. Commerceri.com has all the rules. Now, if you're a business that did experience a loss, you're a small business, you're $1 million gross receipts or less, in 2020, you had, as compared to 2019, a loss in your gross receipts, a difference that was negative, and it exceeded $5,000, and your grants that you receive from the state and the feds to make up for it did not exceed that gap, and you still have a $5,000 need, you can get a $5,000 grant. You can, even if you don't satisfy what I just said, and you can show new expenses that are associated with COVID, you can still get up to that $5,000. So check out our rules on commerceri.com. We were pleased with you, Lieutenant Governor, with Governor McKee. We were at Arigna in North Providence yesterday, and we gave out a paper check.
Yeah.
And it was very exciting to see that pub and restaurant talk about how they're going to do some more outdoor tables and even come back stronger as a result of having that check. So it's not too late. Please go on our website, check it out. Big thanks to Governor McKee, to the Division of Taxation of the state, which is helping us out, Brave River, the small Rhode Island tech company that set up this very easy application.
Amazing.
Now, so many businesses have been getting through it and giving us, frankly, rave reviews for the way in which they've been able to get through it. And we thank the Small Business Coalition and Chris Parisi and the entire team of the Small Business Coalition for helping to make this work. You gave us incredible feedback, and we broke through the barriers and made it work. On the reopening, Lieutenant Governor, if I may.
Sure.
I'll give an overview with some tidbits of illustration, and then Director Liz Tanner will explain even more with great thanks to Liz. So under Governor McKee, there are going to be two significant phases of reopening within May 7th and May 28th, both aligned with when we expect additional benchmarks to be reached for our vaccinations, which are going so incredibly well. And that's the reason we can reopen so smoothly and so substantially. So within the May 7th timeframe, starting on May 7th, many categories of businesses and other institutions in Rhode Island will be allowed to go to 80% capacity with only 3 feet spacing. Now, indoors, you still will be required to wear masks. And we do want people to mind that 3-foot spacing rule, but it's going to provide a lot of relief, because if you're a restaurant, you can add new tables. If you are a barber shop, you may be able to have more people within the shop. If you are a gym, you may be able to bring some of your clients, some of your patrons in to work at equipment in a way that's more comfortable. Now, we want people to stay safe. People should only do what they are comfortable doing. It's safest if you are vaccinated and you've gone through the entire time period required for your given vaccine. It is safest, as Dr. Alexander Scott says to us, to do these things that we're now enabling if you're vaccinated. It doesn't mean you have to go out and do these things, but we do encourage people who are ready, who are vaccinated, who are feeling comfortable and confident to go out and shop and dine and do the rest. So that's 80%, 3 feet spacing, May 7th. Now, we will start to allow some new things too. There are going to be some outdoor distinctions in both instances, in both the May 7th and May 28th timeframe, because outdoors is safer. Some studies show it's 19 times safer from the perspective of virus transmission. So we are going to allow, for the first time, for bars operating outdoors to have standing service. I mean, you can walk up to a bar and order a drink like you did pre-COVID, essentially. And that's going to be allowed outdoors starting May 7th. Not yet indoors. So Liz will explain there are some more outdoor-indoor distinctions. For example, one other I'll mention, though, catered events. We're so eager to see some vigorous forward movement for catered events, and we're grateful to all of the advocates out there who've made it possible. Erica Trombetti, Luke Renshin, and so many others, the Hospitality Association, Dale Venturini, Rick Simone. We are going to allow for catered events outdoor cocktail hours and stand-up bar service beginning May 7th. But I was explaining that distinction with indoor, not yet for indoor catered events, but here's one way that even if you have a wedding that's a catered event, you could start that bar service indoors if you wanted. You could have everyone tested or show proof of vaccination, and then you can do it indoors May 7th. So that gives you a feel. There's some distinctions like that, indoors, outdoors, in the May 7th scenario, but basically 80% capacity, 3 foot spacing instead of 6. Now, beginning May 28th, we'll be at 100% capacity, Lieutenant Governor, for all our industry sectors with 3 foot spacing still required. So what does that mean? It means restaurants, gyms, retail, personal services, funeral homes, offices will all be at 100% with 3 foot spacing. Now, in this particular case, when we get to May 28th, indoor bars will be able to take down the plexiglass and they'll be able to resume standing bar service as one example of the changes that will occur. I won't go into all of them. Liz is going to display the chart and actually walk you through the different changes, but you can get a feel that significant relief is underway, on the way, May 7th and May 28th, and we're so pleased that Rhode Island, thanks to the terrific work under the McKee administration in getting these vaccinations underway, we're really, Lieutenant Governor, making great progress. Huge thanks to the governor and yourself, Lieutenant Governor, for all this momentum. We look forward to future updates in future weeks.
Thank you so much, Secretary, for this important information. And once again, the plug, we need everyone to get vaccinated, please. If you have a business that you have a lot of employees, let us know if we can arrange for vaccination to happen on site for you. So we really want to get everyone vaccinated so we don't have to go back. We're going to continue to move forward. So thank you so much, Secretary, for this information. And with that, we're going to go to, well, Ben, do you have any questions for the Secretary before I move?
Nope. Thank you, Secretary Pryor. No questions today.
Thank you. So we're going to move to Director Liz Tanner from the Business Regulation. I'm so glad to be here with you. So happy to be together with you in this forum now. Welcome,
it's so
Director.
nice to be connected. It's the first time we've actually had a chance to connect in a while. So
that's right.
It's so hard for me not to start this with a mask on, so I've got one here in case I need it, but I don't have one on today.
So. Ready.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to start calling you LG like I did the last LG. So that's sort of, my.
That's good. You call me however you feel comfortable. I'm good.
I appreciate it. So I'm so glad to be back to have this conversation because, I find it so useful to get this information out. And I have an 8:30 morning meeting to get some information and to get feedback and to hear where cases are happening. And I always like to share that with everybody because, sometimes that doesn't necessarily come out in the news. And again, nothing Nothing was new except for that it's very much when people are in small gatherings, right? So that's often what I'm hearing is, we had a couple of people, we had a couple of drinks over the kitchen counter, and we got COVID, so you just need to be really, really careful. But with that, I'm hoping I can share the information that Stefan was speaking about. So Ben, if you can pull up the chart. So there's a lot of information on here, and Secretary Pryor, he went through a bunch of it. It looks like it doesn't even do very well on here because it looks a little fuzzy, but I would first start by looking on the left to see what's an industry that you're involved with or that you care strongly about, and then looking to the right, and you can see where we have beginning May 7th and then beginning May 28th, and you have everything broken out there by each one. Now, by no means is this going to answer all of your questions, and so I'm hoping that Ben will at some point put the DBR information underneath so that if you have a question, we've gotten I wouldn't say the most ever, but we've gotten quite a few questions to understand. But this at least gives you the basics. I think one of the biggest questions that we're getting questions about is events and how we're going to handle events. And I will say that it's probably best for you just to reach out to DBR, again, whether it's on the website that Ben's now showing or the phone number, and let us have a conversation with you, because there's just so many ins and outs to it that it's just easier if you kind of give us a call. We're also starting to become more like consultants. We've spent a lot of time working with businesses, particularly bar owners, particularly event organizers, cater events, things like that, to just offer up advice. What's the safest way to do this? What's the safest way to do that? So we're doing a lot of that now. It's not an inspection. You can just call us. We'll show up. We'll give you advice. So we're really starting to do a lot more of that. We're also starting to do some outreach. So we've had about 10 of our inspectors who are more of our Monday through Friday folks. They have started going to restaurants. And so last week they went to almost 900 different restaurants to share with them all of the information about the programs that are available specifically to restaurants. So there's about 3,300 food licenses in Rhode Island. So we're going to be focusing on that for probably for at least a couple of weeks. And then we'll pivot, but we're trying to get all the information out to restaurants. If you want somebody to come visit you and you haven't been visited yet, you should feel free to give us a call, right? And we'll find the best person to connect you with. So when you're looking at this chart, again, I don't want to go through the whole thing, but as Stefan, Secretary Pryor said, you've got starting on May 7th, essentially an 80% capacity with 3-foot spacing. And so depending on what kind of business you are, that might be the maximum amount that you already have is a 3-foot space. As far as masking, you can see it is required indoors. It's still very, very important indoors. And then you can't read it there, but it says, and if less than 3-foot spacing outdoors. So if you're in a tight confined space, you can see for indoor dining, you're up to 80% indoors again, and 3-foot spacing with 100% outdoors. Again, really trying to push people to be outside. It's critically important that you do as many things as you can out there and not be in a particularly small room with lots of other people. Our bar areas, still a hot spot for us, still a little concerned about that. So for indoors, we're doing, again, seated only, and the plexiglass is still required, but you can see that we're softening that up towards the end of the month. Catered events, it's probably pretty hard to read there, so let me read it from my chart. It says 80% up to 200 indoors, 500 outdoors, and we do recommend some testing. There are certain places where it's required, particularly for student events. And then if you're doing outdoors only, again, we're pushing things outdoors. You have the standing bar service and cocktail hours are permitted. And then you can see a further lightening of that May 28th. Then looking at houses of worship, retail, fitness, personal services, funeral homes, offices, all of those, you get up to 80% and then the 3-foot spacing. So your venue of assembly, which tends to be, it can be many, many different things, a venue of assembly, but that's where we put the events. And so I talked about there and having the Department of Business Regulation really just kind of walk you through any kind of event, even if it doesn't fit in there. Again, if you're looking for some recommendations, we can talk to you about that. One of the things that I talk to event organizers about often is microphone usage. It seems like such a little thing, but people overlook it. There have been cases correlated around the globe from using the same microphone over and over again. So it seems like such a little thing, but that's just one of the inside tidbits that we can offer up to an event organizer to just try to clean the microphone in between uses. And then you can see we've got the social gatherings going up, and then having no limit there starting Memorial Day weekend, and then your sports. So if there's any questions, just ask. It's much easier to do it that way. And then in addition, I know a lot of folks from the associations and the industry trade partners are on here. if you would like to connect with us to have your industry highlighted as far as having our inspectors go out to talk to them about the programs that are available, please let me know. Like I said, we're focusing on restaurants now. I think there's a desire to potentially go to the cosmetology space after that. But if your industry has programs available and you just don't have enough bodies to get out there, we're willing to drive around to all of your membership to make sure that they have the information that they need. One of the big pieces of feedback we received from our efforts last week is that they've gotten emails, but they forgot about it. They didn't look at it. So as much as we like to try to make things convenient and have less paper, one of the things they really like is having somebody hand them a piece of paper. I mean, everybody knows that business owners work harder than anybody else, right? And so, the idea of them having to remember to go back to an email makes it different. But if there's a piece of paper sitting in front of them, then it's a reminder to them that of a program that they should be applying for. So that's kind of what I have this week. I'm not sure what kind of questions have come up, but we're more than happy to try to answer them.
Just want to remind everybody that what you're talking about is giving feedback when you say as being almost as a consultant. We're not looking to punish anyone or find anyone doing something wrong. We want to prevent anything wrong from happening. So the department is available. Your department is available to give feedback, right?
Great. Yep.
Thank you. So with that, Ben, what questions do we have?
Hi, Liz. I do have a question for you.
Hold on, Ben. Do you like my microphone? Is it great?
It's the best you've ever sounded, Liz. Lieutenant Governor.
It's only taken me a year. It's only taken me a year.
Lieutenant Governor Liz and I have spent many conversations offline, off the show, talking about her microphone.
LG, we'll have to get you one.
All right. Yes.
Absolutely.
I need that.
Liz, we have a question for you. Can you please clarify for catered events? Does cocktail hour allow for past appetizers and food stations?
So I think there's going to be a distinction between indoor and outdoor, right? So again, outdoor, we are permitting there to be a standing service. And so that would likely allow for past appetizers. Food stations, you still want to be careful. We really like the idea of not everybody touching everything. So I would think there's going to be a difference there between indoor and outdoor. That's one of those things. I'm going to get a clarification. I'm going to get that information out to you. So Ben, if you could connect me with Sherry's email information, I'd love to get back to her with a very clear answer rather than the one that I'm estimating right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sherry, if you email Billy at the email address running across the bottom of the screen, then he will connect you with Liz. Thanks, Liz.
Thanks so much, and pleasure to be connected again. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Director Connor. Thank you so much. With that, we heard a lot of good information. So the May 7 and May 28 are the key dates to remember, and make sure that you get the information about how the 80% for May 7 and the 100% for May 28. Make sure you're checking the website, the DVR website, to get more details. Then next we have Director Weldon here with us from the Department of Labor and Training, and let's hear the leaders from the Department of Labor and Training. How's it going?
It's going well, Governor. I hope all's well with you.
Everything's good with me. So glad to see you here.
Well, it's always a pleasure. I'm glad that we have this forum again, and it's such a great way to get in contact with so many people. And I really hope that people tune in and they pay attention, because we're here to help them. We're here to serve. We're busy at DLT just like we have been for some time. Things are changing a little bit, and that's good. Yesterday in an interview I did, I said, at this time this week, we have about 67,000 active claimants. 1 year ago at this time, we had 64,000. In between then and now, it went up to 125,000. So almost double. And then now it's come back down. That's good. And we want to see it keep coming down. DLT, just like everyone else, we've all been working very hard. The women and men that work at DLT have been doing a great job for the last year. I think it'd be great to take a little bit off of their workload. So with what Secretary Pryor said, and your leadership and Governor McKee's leadership, we're able to reopen our economy even more than we have. We're able to get shots in arms and get people, make it safe to go back to work. And that's what we're focused on. So I'll talk about unemployment in a minute, but I want to get to something that is very important and top of mind for the governor and for all of us here at DLT. And that is some changes to how unemployment works with people that work part-time. 68,000, 67,000 people a week request a payment from DLT. only 10% of those people are reporting that they're working at all. That means 90% of the people are taking a full payment from the unemployment trust fund. There could be a number of reasons why that's the case, but one reason we believe is because if you work and earn the same amount that you get from unemployment, you can't get an unemployment payment. And if you don't get an unemployment payment, you also cannot get the federal boost or the bonus, which right now is $300. So what can we do about that? One thing we can do is change the law. And so we wrote a law, and we're working with Representative Carol McEntee and Senate Whip Mary Ellen Goodwin to allow claimants to earn up to 150% of their benefit amount. Other states in the country do this. We would be joining that trend. That will encourage people to get back into the workforce and keep them connected to the unemployment system. Because if they get disconnected, if, for instance, they come off unemployment and are working and all of a sudden they find themselves in a situation where they need unemployment again, that can be difficult. We've talked about that. It's better to keep them connected if possible, or we'd love for them to go back full-time. And if they're back to work full-time, that's great. And if they're earning that much, they're probably not going to qualify for a benefit. But if they're earning less than their full pay, we want to be able to help them out. And so this change would hopefully it'll get introduced soon in the Senate, and we'll get it scheduled in the House, and we'll see people start to earn 150% of their weekly rate and get an unemployment payment. We'll also let them keep more. Right now, you can keep 20% of your benefit amount with no impact to your claim. In the future, we'd let you keep 50% of your benefit amount. So if you make a $300 benefit amount every week, right now, after you make $60 at work, we start reducing your claim. In the future, you'd be able to make $150 and put that aside before we reduce your claim at all. We think it's a well thought out way to help people. It's not the single solution to this problem. We need people to get vaccinated. We need people to get back into the workplace.
Yeah.
And one way we're going to do that is say, listen, it's safe. So now it's time to start looking for work again.
Yeah.
We have relaxed those rules over the last year because, we shut down a great deal of the economy. People were impacted, and that was the right thing to do at that time. And Governor McKee has been right in front of this effort to reopen the economy for a very long time and has pushed and pushed to the point in a safe way to make sure that we're able to do so. With the vaccine rollout and with the reopening dates that we've announced in May, we are going to be very soon announcing that DLT will be requiring claimants to be looking for work again, looking for safe work, making sure it's suitable, but generally looking for work. I've been doing a lot of media about that. I'll continue to do that.
Yeah.
We're very happy to answer questions. At the bottom of the screen right now, you can see the DLT call center number. That's the number that claimants can call or when they have questions or concerns. There's also a website. I still urge everyone to go to the website. I have 3 or 4 emails today from people that requested a payment. The system told them to file a claim, to file a new claim, and they sent me an email saying, do I really have to do that? Yes, you do. If the system is developed to know exactly what is going on with your claim individually. So when you log in to use it, it knows who you are, and it says, okay, Matt, time to file a new claim. That is directed at you, so please follow through with that. Even if you think you're on a different kind of claim and you don't need to, you do. And that's one reason why people are calling us. You probably don't have to call. Just file it online. If you do need to call, there's the phone number. The last thing from me today, Governor, is our WorkShare program. We talked about WorkShare quite a bit. WorkShare is a great resource from employers for employers when they want to remain connected with their workers, because they put a lot of time and energy into getting those workers ready to be productive and to be good, successful employees. WorkShare is available. Right now it's free. The federal government is covering all the costs. Go ahead and go to that website and you can find out how to submit a plan. We'll make sure we get to it quickly. WorkShare basically works by like this. You're facing a challenge in the economy. Your business may be a little slower than you want it to be or you need it to be to survive. Instead of laying a bunch of people off, you can reduce their hours. Let unemployment pick up the difference, and those people will get that extra $300 from the federal government. Go ahead and get some information at that website right on the screen right now. Reach out to DLT if you have any questions. I think that's it for this week. I'm happy to take any questions if Ben has it.
So actually I have that feedback for you. I have that feedback for you because I just was speaking to a small business owner yesterday who was raving about the WorkShare program. So thank you for bringing that up. Everyone that if you have not tried it, please give it a try. It's a great way in which you can maintain your workforce that is already trained, so you don't have to start all over. So please take a look at the WorkShare program. With that, let's go back to Ben. Do we have any questions for Director Weldon?
Yes, Matt. Hey, Matt. We always have
Hello,
questions for Matt. Matt's the most popular one when it comes to questions. So number one, the first question that I have, here we go. Where is it? Somebody. These were texted to me. Okay. So if you are does the looking for work qualification extend to the people that are on the pandemic unemployment and the pandemic unemployment who are artists and stuff that are self-employed. Sorry, I couldn't find who actually wrote the text.
It does, in so much it would be applied a little bit differently, though, right?
Okay.
We're not telling somebody whose business has been impacted, and let's just say you use an example of an artist. We're not going to tell an artist, okay, now it's time to go take a job in some other industry, but we are going to tell them it's been a while now. What can the economy is changing. What can you be doing to get your business back up and running? Have you taken advantage of a PPP loan or some other kind of federal loan? Is there a state incentive that will work for you? We want you to get all the resources you have coming to you, but we also need to get you prepared to be back in the economy. At some point, the federal government's not going to continue these programs. And when that happens, we need people to be prepared. That's why we're talking about it now.
Question number two, if someone received a letter saying that they no longer qualify, but they were still able to certify and received payment, should they continue trying to certify and receive payment?
Yeah, so what happens is on regular unemployment claims, even when people think they're on pandemic unemployment, you can be on regular unemployment and have it be COVID related. And so those claims expire after 1 year. And those are the people we're telling they have to refile. Sometimes, and often actually, when they refile, they're not eligible because they don't have earnings in the base period. The base period that we look at, they were on unemployment. So we'll send them a notice saying, oh, you're not eligible. That means keep using the old benefit year when you certify. Then we can put you back on the extension. A lot of people have said, why can't you just leave me on the extension? Why do I have to go through this? It's because it's a federal government program and they have rules. And their rules are you need to see if you're eligible for a new one. And if you're not, then we can continue the old one.
Last question, and this might get a little too complicated, I'm not sure. For self-employed people who are on some form of the public insurance option, self-employed people that have their own health insurance that were on the pandemic unemployment, that is taxable income. The $600 and then $400 and then $300 bumps, if that pushes them into a new tax bracket, are you aware if that will affect their health insurance for when they file their taxes?
I'm not. I pretend to be a know-it-all, but I know there are things that I absolutely am not able to speak on, and that are any qualifications for health insurance premiums or rates or public programs. But the Lieutenant Governor's office, I'm sure, can help try to track down an answer. And if you have on the scroll right there an email address and a phone number, people should reach out.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, Matt.
Send that question over to Billy, okay, and he can make sure that we can get the answer for you. Okay?
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Director Weldon. So great to see you. And
You too. Thank you.
Thank you for all that information. Next, we're going to go with Chris Parisi to give us an update about how things are going. Chris, it's so good to see you again.
Lieutenant Governor, same here. We appreciate your support for small businesses. I got to give you a compliment. One of the many great things about you, which was similar about then Lieutenant Governor McKee, is that you talk to the community, you get into the 39 cities and towns, and it's evident even just in this town hall forum, you're talking about, oh, I spoke to this small business owner. They love the WorkShare program. I talked to this person. So I think that's great, having that accessibility to our elected officials. So keep it up.
Thank you.
So I want to talk about three main things here, and it was actually all of them are already discussed by our great elected officials and government leaders here. Is number one, the restrictions being lifted. What a big announcement that was last week. The governor has always been an advocate to safely reopen the economy, And that's what we're doing, with the help of Liz Tanner from DBR, Secretary Pryor, and yourself. And we're really excited as a small business community to hear about those changes, getting towards that 100% in Memorial Day. And this is a decision, as we understand, was based on data, right? And the most biggest data point is getting that vaccination. So make sure you get your vaccination. And if you have a suggestion of how the state can vaccinate at a larger rate, if there's a big office, for instance, that the state can get in there and hopefully vaccinate multiple people at once for efficiency, I know they're open to those ideas. So make sure you reach out to the Lieutenant Governor's office or the Governor's office regarding that. And yeah, just to quickly, we agree on all of the restrictions lifted. We would love to see, at least the gyms would love to see the masks not mandated indoors with 6 feet distance plus. We're gonna ask Director Tanner about that, and Jennifer Ortiz talked about the importance of opening the offices in downtown Providence, especially those larger corporations that has a trickle-down effect on our small businesses. So even though it'll be 100% open, we'll see how that has of an impact. The second thing, Lieutenant Governor, is the hiring crisis. We spoke about that last week.
Oh, yes, Chris, yeah.
And you've heard it, right? We have all these businesses that are finally able to hire, and they can't find quality workers that are willing to take the job. So we thank Director Weldon for spearheading this effort that he just talked about, bringing people back to work. And, we urge our General Assembly members. It sounds like we have some great folks like Representative McEntee, who's always been a champion for small businesses, Senator Goodwin, to quickly review and get this legislation passed so that we can get the small business community can get some assistance in being able to hire. I mean, it's a win-win-win for employers, employees, and the government. So we're looking forward to some progress quickly made on that. And the last thing, Lieutenant Governor, is the grant program. Secretary Pryor mentioned that. And I'm just urging every small business owner, apply today. Talk to all of your colleagues. Ask them if they applied for their grant, if they're eligible. Make sure they apply. I mean, it may close. The deadline's this Friday, I believe. So it's going to close soon. There's some money left, only a few million or so. So make sure as a small business owner that if you applied, well, tell your neighbors, tell your colleagues to make sure that they apply for this great state small business relief grant program that the team at Commerce and the governor in your office has successfully launched. So that's all I have today. And as always, my reminder to the small business owners to join the coalition. You can go to rismallbusiness.org. We're a nonprofit 501c6 advocating and connecting our small businesses with their elected officials so we can get the change that we need, not only during this pandemic, as we've been doing for over a year, but beyond, to make it a more small business friendly state.
Thank you so much, Chris. Yes, a reminder, please join the coalition. It's important for our elected officials, me and the other elected officials, can hear directly from you what is affecting you and affecting your business. So make sure you reach out to Chris, and the information is being posted right there. You can write the information down. If you need more information about the coalition, please make sure you send an email to my office. Billy has been sharing his email right here today. So please get in contact with us. I want to thank all the directors that joined us today and all the important information that was provided. I want to remind all of the business owners that would like to receive an email notification about this event to please, again, Billy Kepner has been sharing his email during during this broadcast. So make sure you get his email and send us an email. We can add you to the list. The final thing is just a reminder, we're going to start doing this every other Tuesday. The Governor McKee and I are having every other Tuesday, we have a press conference. And I want to make sure that we don't conflict and make sure that we have a regular schedule that is reliable. So for that reason, we're going to have this event every other Tuesday, and we can send you the email as a reminder. Make sure you contact our office for that. So with that, I just want to do a final check with Ben. Do you have any final question for me?
No. Oh, hey, Chris. I didn't know you were still on. No, that's it. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor. And, wonderful job today.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for making this happen. You're the one doing the magic that's making this happen. So with that, once again, I want to say thank you to everyone that turned in today. And we're going to be back together in 2 weeks. Okay? Take care.